Fantastic sizzle. Medium, throw it in the bin. I don't like well done steaks. Hi, I'm Andy from the Waitrose Cookery School, and I'm going to talk about steak today. You may have picked up from my wobbly accent that I'm actually from Australia, so steak is something that is a real passion of mine. Today we're going to go with a ribeye, my personal favorite, and I'm going to show you how to cook the absolute perfect steak. So we're starting with our steak here, and the first thing is the temperature of the steak. It's crucially important that it's at room temperature. Never cook a steak when it's cold, especially if you like them rare or blue, because you risk having it cold in the middle, even though the outside's cooked. The first thing I do is season. Ask 10 different chefs and you'll get 10 different answers about seasoning. But my rule of thumb is season with salt beforehand, because you've got that sodium that chemically combines with the heat to really get into the flavor of the steak. But I don't season with pepper. Pepper, especially freshly ground, is full of lovely natural oils which burn in the heat, in the searing heat of the pan. It's just too hot, so I don't bother with it. So we're going to season liberally. In this case, lovely, fine crystal sea salt. The other question I get asked a lot is how far ahead of time can you season? Now, a lot of people say don't season too far ahead of time. It dehydrates the steak, it takes all of the moisture out of the steak. It's not actually true. So you can season up to a couple of hours in advance. And of course, there's also a type of brining called dry brining, which is basically salt and seasonings and things like that, which you can do overnight. So our steak is seasoned and of course at room temperature. The next thing we need to talk about is pans. There's several options here. Today I'm using stainless steel, but of course you can use a griddle pan, get those lovely char marks on there, which you will get those char marks on a barbecue as well. And you can also use a non-stick if it's a really nice quality, nice and thick pan, so it retains the heat. You want to bring it up to a nice high temperature. You certainly don't want to start frying the steak at a low temperature. You get those little white bubbles of death, I call them, around the sides. That means you're basically boiling the internal juices of the steak, and that's never a good thing. It's all about caramelization, so we need that temperature up. Once there's a base layer of heat in the pan, you can then bring the temperature back down. But we've got our pan nice and hot. I can check that by putting my hand about an inch from the surface. The other thing you can do is just get a couple of little drops of water from the tap, drop it in there, and if it sizzles straight away, you're at sizzle temperature. Easy. For frying and searing, I'm going to use some sunflower oil. Make sure the bottom of the pan is covered, and I'm going to get the steak in there straight away because the pan is hot. Fantastic sizzle right from the off. Now, cooking time. We want this at about a medium rare, so I'm going to go, it's relatively thin steak, so I'm going to go 2 minutes on the first side, then we're going to baste, turn it over, get that nice caramelization, get that sweetness. That's part of the reason why we do this. Now, a ribeye is from the rib section of the cow, ribs 6 through 12 actually, and if you've ever seen that classic sort of Sunday roast with the big rib that comes out the side, the ribeye is actually the meat on that rib roast. Great flavour, several different muscles, lightly used but enough to give it a bit of texture. Absolutely lovely. So you can, if you want, if you're a bit worried about how far your steak's going, is you can sneak a peek. So we can lift that up a little bit. Great colour, really nice. So I'm going to turn that over now. And we're also going to baste the steak. So I've got some butter, garlic and thyme. I'm going to take it off the heat a little bit, add some of that butter in. I say some, quite a bit. We've got some thyme here. And we've got 2 cloves of garlic as well. Now what the thyme and the garlic are going to do is flavour the butter. I'm going to lift the steak off a little bit and just put that beautiful flavoured butter all over the steak. Now this is going to cook quite quickly for a medium rare, so what's the pinch test? The muscle that's down at the base of your thumb, first finger, rare. Second finger, medium rare. Medium, throw it in the bin, right? So, I don't like well done steaks, but there we go. So as the muscle becomes increasingly tense, the muscle there will respond in kind. So we're resting that now, and it's important to rest the steak so that the muscle relaxes a little bit. I'm just putting a little bit of that basting butter on there as well. Get some foil, And that's just to keep it reasonably warm while we prepare the rest of the dish. Okay, so we've got a lovely accoutrement from the oven, some oven roasted mushrooms there with garlic and our beautiful roasted tomatoes as well. They're going to be the basis of the flavor. Let's look at our steak. The basic rule of thumb is to rest it for as long as you've cooked it. It's looking good. We'll get it up on the board. Now, so with your steak, you want to cut across the grain, not with the grain, because if you cut across the grain, you shorten the fibers and it won't be as chewy. It's a classic that chefs do. So our grains are running this way through the ribeye. I'm going to cut across this way. So the color, we've got nice pink steak inside, but the fibers are set, so it's not rare. Now that's looking good, that's prepared. I'm going to get some of our mushrooms and tomatoes on there as well. We've got some lovely triple cooked chips as well. And the final thing, because we worry about your 5 a day, a little bit of watercress. I'm going to dress this in a tiny bit of salt and some extra virgin olive oil. No pepper required because watercress brings that lovely peppery bite. There we have it. Ribeye, done to about a medium rare to medium, basted in that butter with garlic and thyme, beautiful roasted tomatoes, triple cooked chips, and a little bit of fresh salad as well. My perfect steak.